Let's be honest, most SaaS founders watching this dream of one day selling the SaaS business. And that's exactly why I wanted to get Jaume on today's episode, because he went from zero to a six-figure SaaS exit in just a couple of years. And in this episode, he's going to share everything that he did to come up with that idea, scale that SaaS business, and what it was actually like to sell his business. He's also going to be talking through why he's now pivoted to building mobile apps and everything that he's doing, the good and the bad, to grow those apps. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel, because in the SaaS Founder podcast, I interview 6, 7, 8, and 9-figure SaaS founders who share the raw reality of building a SaaS business so you can scale yours. But now we've covered all of that, let's get straight into the episode. Hi, Jaume. Thanks for coming on to the SaaS Founder podcast. Would you mind introducing yourself to everyone and walk me up until this point today? What's your story?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me on. Big fan of all the stuff you're doing, and congrats on the massive exit.
Thank you.
So my background is I was in the SEO space for, 7, 8 years. Kind of did all sorts of things, had a little agency, consulting, all that. Then started a YouTube channel. From that YouTube channel, I built a SaaS. That was like the product that I was trying to sell through the YouTube channel. And then March of last year, I sold it. It was a 6-figure sale. And now I'm building mobile apps. And one's profitable and growing. The other one's growing and monetizing it this week, hopefully. So yeah.
Exciting times. You make it sound so easy. Just started a YouTube, started a SaaS. We're going to get onto the apps later, but like you sold a SaaS for six figures. How did you come up with the idea for that SaaS? And how did you get your first 100 customers?
Yeah. So the SaaS is clicks.so. That's the domain. And it's basically, it was the equivalent of like an Ahrefs or a SEMrush for those of you in the SEO space. It was an all-in-one SEO tool that I wanted to make affordable, right? That was like one of the main things that people would comment on my YouTube videos. They'd say, do you have any discounts for Ahrefs? Like, is there a way of accessing SEMrush, but for cheaper? And I just didn't have any options, right? And people would just wanted like an affordable option. And there were a few tools out there, but I didn't really love them. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I just try and piece something together? And I did. And that was kind of the first idea was just, I'm just going to launch like a waiting list type of like one-liner landing page. And within maybe a month or so of like talking about it on a few YouTube videos, 800 people had signed up. So I was like, wow, okay, so maybe there's definitely something here. And then, from there, just kind of launched and.
The general advice, I guess, that I see around SaaS is like sell something to rich people. So I'm interested to hear you built like an affordable SaaS. Like, do you feel that was the right decision? Obviously, you got a lot of waiting list signups sold for like a really great figure. Like, what would you advise to SaaS founders starting up or thinking about positioning the SaaS around pricing? Yeah,
so it's definitely not ideal to be the cheap version of like a really, really great product, right? Because that's where a lot of comparisons come in. A lot of people said, hey, Ahrefs has this, why don't you have this? They have this depth of data. You don't have this depth of data. They have all these extra tools. Why don't you have this? And I think that's just kind of something that naturally happens when you're going that route, the price route. I definitely wouldn't recommend it. But I think for a first product, for a first business, you're just trying to get something out there. It might be a good idea to copy something that already works, make it a bit simpler, make it a bit cheaper, and go for a different audience. Is it the best business model? Or are you going to get super rich from it? Most likely not. But as a first business, I think it was a good start.
Yeah, I would agree, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You've got an exit. You've got 6 figures, and you're now able to like go on to what you want to do next.
Yeah.
What was like looking back on that journey? What was difficult about growing Clicks, or what worked really well?
Yeah, I think I got a little bit lucky. Well, I mean, not luck. I mean, I created that luck by grinding on this YouTube channel for 3 years and then piling on kind of all those views into this tool. So I don't know if that's luck per se, but I worked hard on that audience to then be able to launch that tool. That was kind of the goal. The goal was I didn't know what business to build. And so I decided first, let me grind out an audience. Let me focus on building kind of the marketing first, and then I'll be able to sell something to them, right?
Yes.
And throughout that journey, you end up doing consulting, you end up kind of building a small agency because you just attract people that want to work with you because you're just showing your work, and people love to see people love to see other people sharing their results. They're like, oh, wait, you're doing so well. Can you do that for my business, right? They see themselves in you while you're explaining these things. But I think the main challenge was kind of building a product for like an industry that was already so established. Because again, those comparisons came in, and the churn, which I later found out, I later met people that work in SEMrush, and they told me that the churn for these tools is just naturally quite high, especially for like generic. The churn I can show you, I think, but it was around 20% month over month. So it was quite high. But so there's a few things with the churn, but a lot of it had to do with the fact that people would come in, they'd use the tool for like 2-3 months and they'd bounce, and then maybe they'd come back like 6 to 7 months later. But as I was saying, I spoke to, I don't remember what her exact position was, but she was one of the high up VPs in SEMrush, and she eventually told me that I had to like pull this information out of her. I was like, no, tell me about the churn. And she didn't want to, but eventually she did. She told me that the churn for them is also super high at SEMrush. Yeah. And there's this behavior of like people just come in, they do their keyword research, they do their competitor analysis, and then they leave and they'll come back, or maybe they don't.
Yes.
So the churn is something that was tough to work.
And it's interesting, like me and Jaume, we were both in the same, like both in SEO, both had an exit. Like it's pretty cool that the industry was so big that we would never really be competitors. I guess we probably had a lot of the same features.
Yeah.
The highest my churn was 16%, but I managed to get it down to 6%. And for me, it was all around like stickiness. Mm-hmm. What we're looking back, and if you can share any numbers, great. What were inflection points with clicks, whether it was to do with your churn, MRR growth? What was something that you did that you instantly saw a change? Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to say that I think you nailed your product as well, like making it in that niche inside of Squarespace, like having that niche, I think was so solid and it was really smart.
Thank you.
And because I think mine was just too generic. It was just like any SEO person, anybody in any niche. Yeah. But you being like inside Squarespace, I think was great. And Peyton, the guy who ended up buying clicks, also did a super great job with Zenflow.
Webflow framework.
Yeah, Zenflow. So it's the SEO for Webflow. And so for someone who's starting out, I might even recommend that. I might even recommend like niching down a little bit more instead of just doing like a generic tool for absolutely everyone. But anyway, back to your question. Let me show you my screen here.
I think a lot of people think that though, they think that they have to go for like a big market, and you can end up there, but like it's great to start small and grow from there.
Yeah. So what you don't see back here is, for some reason, I can't see back to October, but I basically did like a 3-month beta where I shut everything down. So what I did was I had this wait list that was growing for like a month or so. And then I eventually launched this beta to like the first 50 people that decided to pay for it. And so that overnight, I think we hit like 800 MRR. And I say we, but it was just me. But anyway, so you hit around 800 MRR and I shut it down. I just wanted 50 people paying because I was nervous about what was going to happen. And I think that was one of the best things I did, like shutting it down, not allowing more people to come in.
You were nervous that it was going to break, or?
Yeah, it was my first time kind of building something from scratch on my own. And yeah, I was just a bit nervous about that. And it was really good because I just got a lot of feedback from people. People told me they absolutely hated it. They despised this feature. They wanted this other feature. And so it took like 3 months to kind of just group back together. Actually, I guess it might have been in December. I think so this makes sense. So I started the waitlist in December, and then it was in March that I opened it back up. And that's when you can see kind of the growth just kind of take off here. And then I ended up selling around here. I think that the process to sell was probably at around, I forget, I was at around 4K when I was thinking about it. And I was like, I might as well see if there's anything out there. Or it might have been in March. I don't exactly remember, but the clear inflection point was that I kind of started the wait list, then shut it down, and then just started talking about it as much as possible. As soon as I like opened it up again, started posting more videos, started doing SEO. I can show you guys examples of things that that worked then. But this was kind of the growth, right? And you can see it's quite steady. It was looking pretty solid. A bit of a flat line here, but the churn is also growing as a result, right? The churn was quite intense. So you can see even in the month of October, so around 4.1K MRR, but so around 1.2K in new subscriptions, but the churn is around 1K, right?
Yeah.
Pretty interesting churn there.
Well, this graph is like a perfect example. I think so many SaaS founders, especially, I think at all stages, they always focus on growth, spend more on ads, growth at all costs. But the biggest part of your SaaS is the blue part, right? Your existing, and your existing ultimately leads to churn. And I actually think what a lot of SaaS founders, like, especially anyone watching this, is anywhere between around 4 that you were at all the way up to 50. Like you should obsess more over the blue part, your existing MRR. Because when you obsess over that, you reduce churn, you improve your product. And then any marketing that you do then has a higher ROI because you don't have a leaky bucket. But Jaume, mine was really similar, like the red one. Like it's painful to see, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is. It hurts. It hurts. But no, that was my main mistake. My main mistake was just not being able to handle the churn. And it's also kind of the I want to say it's like the nature of this type of business, because it's a data business.
Yes.
And so people will judge you on the data. And if the data isn't perfect, and I was trying to manage a bunch of different data sources, and eventually towards the end, I found one that actually worked. And that was a bit more solid. But by then I was already burnt out, and I think I could have held on for a bit longer, but there was an offer on the table and I was like, you know what? It's been a year. It's maybe early, but why not, you know?
Yeah, I mean, seeing from the growth there and with your audience, like I'll make sure I include Jaume's channel below, which you don't actually use anymore, from my understanding.
Yeah.
You definitely could have got it to like 10, 20K a month for sure, because it is a huge market as well. So you sold. The question that I ask every founder that comes on is SaaS dead? And I think your opinion is going to be very interesting because you've now pivoted from SaaS to apps. So feel free to answer that question and then tell me a little bit more about what you do now.
Yeah, no, I personally don't think SaaS is dead. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of different opinions on this now. Like I have my developer friends that are saying, no, like people are now going to build every SaaS in-house because now we have access to all these vibe coding tools. And like, I don't think that's going to happen. Like I think 48-year-old Jenny who works in HR isn't going to think about creating her own like HR software. She's just going to go to whatever HR software is the best and sign up her company, and B2B SaaS is going to continue to grow. So that's my personal opinion. I don't think vibe coding is going to wreck SaaS because everyone has the ability to build a SaaS. Most people don't want to build a SaaS. Like it's a pain in the ass to build it, to maintain it.
It's tough.
The marketing for it is horrible. I mean, yes, if you build your own, and I don't know, I want to say that I don't think it's anywhere near dead. A lot of the SaaS stocks are down a lot, but I think it's going to come back up. A lot, like the power of the brand, I think is really important. And a lot of people with this AI hype are just kind of, I think they're overseeing it. But that's my opinion.
Just before you go into that, I just want to like really emphasize, if you're watching this, especially new SaaS founders, like look at what Jaume did, like the hard graft of building an audience and then built a SaaS. Whereas what a lot of people do, especially because it's so easy to code now, the vibe code a product and then think, like now I need customers. But the complete opposite way, like build a waiting list, build an audience, sell to that.
Yeah. So. And my younger brother, so I have two brothers. My younger brother, he is the same. He actually has a much bigger channel than I do. He's got around like 80,000 subs. And he did the same. He wanted to start a business, but he didn't know what business to start. And so he just started posting on YouTube consistently, one video every week. And now he's one of the top guys in the design space, and he's got contracts with all these big companies. But he ended up building his own SaaS as well and just selling it for the audience. So if you guys don't know what to do, if you guys don't have any ideas, maybe start an audience, maybe start posting, you know?
Yeah. And how about the transition now? Like, why did you make that switch?
Yeah. So it was more a question of, so my older brother actually happens to run one of the biggest fitness apps in the world. So
what's it called?
I have Heavy.
Heavy. Interesting.
Have you heard of it?
I haven't, but I use something called Fitbod.
Okay. Yeah. So they're competitors. But anyway, so he saw me with kind of going through this struggle of like building a SaaS. And it was more like the difficulty in like marketing it because it was just so competitive to be in the SEO space at that time. And even now it's even crazier because all these people are building AEO tools and all that.
Yeah.
And his app was going super well. And he was like, maybe you should just try it. And with kind of how coding was going as well, it was just easier to build. And so, yeah, it was just, I wanted to try it. You know, I tried YouTube, I tried agency, I tried a B2B SaaS, and now I wanted to try a little bit of B2C. And yeah, it's super exciting.
And I know that, as you said, you can't go into all the details, but like, how are you approaching growing an app right now?
Yeah, no, so,
and how can that help SaaS founders watching this?
Yeah, so I think it's something that applies to any business really. But right now I'm still, so there's two apps. One of them is a digital business card app. It's called Hey Card. This one I've talked about. And I'm still growing it. There's the kind of the B2C side where people just kind of sign up and they have their own digital business card. And that's a subscription business as well, which is growing. There's also the B2B side, which businesses sign up and then they have all of their employees have their own custom digital business cards and so on. And I'm growing that through SEO. I'm growing that through just like being on LinkedIn and just being active and like going to conferences, just really basic stuff. Like it's nothing crazy, right? I just kind of I'll go to an event and I'll show people my card and they're like, oh, this is great. And it's kind of word of mouth. And so that's working well. But for the other one is a tennis app, a B2C app. So it's a sports app type of app. And, it's TikTok. It's TikTok and it's crazy because I'm not doing any of the AI kind of,
slideshow stuff.
Yeah, I'm not doing any of that. It's more, I'm just finding creators and I'm paying them, between $1 to $3 CPM. So it's more of like a performance-based kind of contract with these guys. And it works super well because there's a lot of creators that you'll reach out to where you're like, hey, I'd love to work together. Like, can we get something working? And they're like, oh, it's $5K for a post. And it's like, man, are you going to guarantee like views? Are you going to guarantee sign? They can't guarantee anything, right? Because a lot of these guys, they'll post and they'll get 3,000 views and some other video they'll get like 1.5 million views. So they have no idea what's going to hit, right? And so that's why working with these type of like more performance-based contracts, I think works quite well.
How do you find them? Like, how do you find the creators? Or is that the secret sauce? What?
Yeah, no, there's no secret sauce because there's a bunch of tools and all that. But I've tried these tools and what ended up working was just going like brute force, like typing in tennis on TikTok and just going one by one, DMing them, finding their email, sending them a DM. And actually the App Mafia guys, I don't know if you know about these guys, you know,
the Cal guys. Yeah.
So they have a free course, whatever it's called, the App Mafia course, it might be called. And they have a section where they talk about how they work with influencers. It's literally that play. Like cause it's a free course now. It was like paid before, but now it's free. So highly recommend for honestly anyone, like even in SaaS, I think being on TikTok, if you have an audience there, which most people do, it's something that I think it can kind of kickstart the growth. And I think is really solid because from the TikTok views, I've gotten reviews on the App Store, which helps with kind of the ranking inside of the App Store, which also helps the actual, the listing inside of Google, right? So now my website is now a bit more visible. So it's all just kind of like this kind of Ferris wheel, right? That just kind of keeps going. And so, the TikTok play, I think is something that I think it just works. And Instagram and people are posting on Snapchat as well.
It's interesting. A lot of founders ask me this. I was on a call maybe 2 weeks ago. It was a SaaS founder that was at 40K MRR and wanted to get to 100. And he was asking me, he was like, here's what I'm doing. What do you think I should be doing to be getting to 100K MRR? So SaaS founder at 40K wants to get 100K. And I said to him, the harsh reality is like everyone right now is making money off every platform. Pretty much like any platform, there is money to be made, whether it's Meta ads, whether it's TikTok ads, whether it's SEO. But I think it's usually the people that are obsessed and ruthlessly test, they're the ones that crack it. I don't think there's any one channel. There's just like any channel can work. It's whether you're going to be obsessed and make it work for your business.
No, absolutely. And, and with TikTok, it's also been a question of just testing a bunch of different things. Like, okay, does it make sense for it to be a little bit more almost like an ad, or should it just be like 100% organic? Like there's no mention that I'm involved in that video. It's just like the creator just being like, oh man, I found this app and I'm playing tennis and this and that. And what has worked for this app, for the tennis app, has been 100% organic. Like no mention of anything. Just like you're just casually just showing the app. You're just going about your day, playing tennis, doing whatever. And then you show the app. And then what's like the kind of the main like money makers when people start commenting, oh, what app is that? What app is that? What app is that?
Yes.
But I mean, I've seen this for a lot of SaaS as well. There's some flight SaaS that I see over and over and over on TikTok, and they do the exact same play. They just get a bunch of creators to post about the SaaS, and I'm sure their business is booming. Like I see them all over. So it doesn't just apply to mobile apps.
No. Well, I do it for so the product that I'm building now is, building in ChatGPT ads. Mm-hmm. And often all you're doing is like, you're providing value to an audience and then you're positioning your tool as a solution. But obviously like on social media, I guess it doesn't work just like that, but yeah, it's super interesting. And like, cause we're talking about apps, I'm thinking, right, I like talking about apps, but I want to like make sure it's applicable to SaaS founders.
Yeah, of course.
So I think for the SEO play, you had an audience, right? So you had a group of people that you could sell to. How do you think about building a moat? Because if anyone can build anything, you're building a tennis app. How do you, I could decide to build a tennis app today. So how do you think about building like defensibility in a moat, given anyone can build anything?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was building the SEO SaaS, the moat was coming from the audience. The moat was just the fact that people would turn up to watch my podcast or to watch whatever videos I was posting. And so they were going to buy, I don't know if it was going to be 100%, but there was always going to be a percentage of people that would eventually convert into some product because they trusted me, because they've been following me over the years. And so I think the audience moat is serious and it works, and it'll continue working now even more with AI, where everyone can post content, AI avatars, whatever. No, people want to see real people, right?
A real person. Yeah.
Yeah. So the audience moat is real. The second thing is obviously the quality of the product, I think, is really important. Like Ahrefs has a massive moat of just like, they have the best quality and that's it. And the third moat that I'm kind of using with this tennis app now is data. So what people do is they basically post their tennis workouts, their matches, their trainings, whatever it is. And it's sticky because you end up having like all of your workouts over the last year on this app. And so it's like, yes, you can build another app and yes, you can onboard them and all of that, but they're still going to have all of that data there. So what's the cost of them like kind of moving on to a separate app, right? So it's how can you make it as sticky, as like retention positive as possible for them to make it like almost uncomfortable. Like they don't want to leave, it's like everything is already sticky there. Yeah. And so I know this doesn't apply to all SaaS, but I think, it's the way I see it is like audience, it's product quality, or it's like in some way just making it so they just can't leave. But the issue that everyone, I don't know if it's an issue. It's also a good thing that anyone can build anything today. I think the most ambitious people are gonna keep killing it. So
the examples that we had, episode 1, we had Jaume, who Jaume IF, affiliate AI. He's a data play as well. He's like, if I've got 100 million rows of affiliates, that's not something that someone can just replicate with Claude. It's just not doable. We've got an advantage with the recommendations that we can provide. Episode 2, he had a SEO agency for self-storage businesses. And then now he's creating an SEO tool for self-storage, like Google Ads, websites, SEO. So like an all-in-one marketing tool for self-storage. So it's like, you've got the data play, you've got like the vertical play, like I did and like he did. Yeah. And then, as you said, there's the data play as well.
The vertical play is great because you'll have a customer that just sees it and it's like, oh my God, this is made for me. Like, how am I going to go anywhere else? Right. So it's smart.
If you could go back to Clicks from before you sold it, looking back on that journey, is there anything you wish you did differently? or you feel like if you'd have done, you could have got a higher exit multiple?
Man, you know what it was? I think I wish, and there was a part of me that also sold because I had a little bit of, what's it called? FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. Yeah. I had a little bit of FUD of what was coming with AI, because the problem was that I was also making videos about SEO. So I was so deep in like the granular things that were coming, and everyone was just talking about how SEO was going to die and all of this. And I definitely ate into some of that for sure. But I think if I had waited a little bit, I would have been one of the first to get into AEO. And yes. I was already speaking to a few companies. There's actually a YC company that reached out, and they had some like really early ChatGPT API to like see how, or not API, sorry, they were scraping ChatGPT, but they turned that into an API.
Interesting, yeah.
And you could see how they were like, where you were ranking. And this was super early on. It might have been 2024, like mid 2024, late 2024. And I started thinking about it, and I eventually told the buyer that was definitely the direction they should take. And they've gone into it a little bit later, so I think they missed it a little bit. But that's kind of one of my main regrets, is maybe I should have just held on a little bit more, and kind of continued down that route. And because a lot of these AEO tools are exploding now.
Yeah, there's tools you don't even know about that are doing like 150K a month. It's insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Yeah, and I think that was my biggest mistake. It's that Warren Buffett thing, no? That when everyone's selling, that's when you need to buy. That's what I should have thought, that like, oh my God, it's all going to die. But actually, this is probably one of the best moments to like create something new, right? There's going to be the most opportunity. So yeah, that's maybe one of my regrets.
I know exactly how you feel, because obviously I was really deep in SEO as well. Mm-hmm. And I think I would recommend every SaaS founder, if you can sell, because I think that I can definitely look back on my journey and think I for sure I could have made more money. But the difference between like, let's say you sell for 500K and you push on for another 6 months and you sell for 700K, that isn't going to change your life.
Yeah.
But taking that win on to the next business, like that next business is what can materially change your life on top of what you've already done. Yeah. So I know how you feel.
No, that's exactly it. And that was my thought as well. My thought was, I was also very burnt out. And I was stressed about the churn. I didn't know how to improve it. And I tried all these data sources, and this buyer came in and they had more resources than I did. And they had all these ideas of how they were going to improve the tool. And I was like, you know what? This is going to give me time to kind of focus on the next thing. This isn't going to be my retirement, check, but it's going to allow me to just build the next thing. And that's what I'm doing. And that's what they paid me kind of, I forget what it was. I think it was maybe around 40-50% up front. And then the rest is like monthly over 2 or 3 years. So that's great. So I'm basically just building stuff and just getting paid for it, for the next 3 years, which is amazing.
Yeah. It's interesting, the different exits. Like mine was cash up front.
That must be nice.
And I was chatting to a founder the other day that's got he has to work there for 3 years minimum.
He has to work at the...
Yeah. It was a much larger deal. Like I think it was between 50 and 100 million.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, man, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on. Excited to see the tennis app when you'll finally show me. So
yeah, I will. Thanks for having me.